Hey, good afternoon. How is it going?
Good afternoon. It's going great. I've been touring around this gorgeous town, and now I'm back here at the beginnings of Cosmoverse.
How many Cosmos events did you attend?
I think this is my third major conference, but there have been events along the way that I've also been at that have been great.
It's also nice to be there on all the events. And what do you think makes Cosmonauts unique?
What makes Cosmonauts unique? I mean, I think the big thing is they all want to build their own thing. You know, the main ethic that attracted me to Cosmos, that attracted us to Cosmos, is everyone wants to build their own, sovereign thing and connect it to the rest of the world. That's the way I view how economies grow, and that's a sort of key to this community.
And what do you think which application will grow the Cosmos in the next upcoming years?
I think the biggest thing that will grow Cosmos is fine-grained, high-performance, rich connectivity to the rest of the crypto ecosystem. So orchestration, bridges and orchestration across them. So, the Axelars, the unions, these things, because they connect our economies together, and, economies grow by being connected to more people.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we come for the next question is, what excites you the most in Cosmos, if we speak about tech?
If we speak about tech, so having these nice sovereign proof-of-stake systems where you can build your own thing, that's really powerful. That would be uninteresting if they weren't connected. So IBC is really the thing that is the most compelling, unique thing, probably because it also drives us to sort out the issues of everyone wanting their own denoms, everyone having different names for things, everyone rolling out stuff independently in a large-scale system. And so we've got, a year's lead on that problem where everyone else is now just stepping into the mess.
Can you name me any Cosmos chains people haven't heard before?
No.
All right.
I mean, so that's one of those things where if they haven't heard of osmosis, then their head is under a rock. If they haven't heard of Agoric, shame on them. You've got Evmos, Juno, sort of ones that did something explosive and then they've settled down and they're kind of finding their niche with one thing or another. You've got, Stargaze and OmniFlix that are growing and serving a user community that's sort of, actual end users buying actual things they want to use. So there's, lots of stuff all over the place that different communities have heard of. No one's heard of Barachain yet because it's not shipped. But wait, lots of people have heard of that too.
Which proposals do you remember from the history of
Cosmos?
Cosmos?
Not a one. I mean, I remember the proposals. To me, the Cosmos Hub proposal to allocate ATOM to IST liquidity, that's the one that I remember most recently. Can't for the life of me remember the number, but that's when I was a designated person to help with, as opposed to driving that proposal. But but I appreciated that. But yeah, the proposal to turn on IBC when IBC first went live, huge things. But
so if you're not really familiar with proposals on Cosmos, on other chains, tell us some funny story about Cosmos Hub.
Oh, well. So to me, the most memorable story for me, I don't know whether it's funny, we had been talking to Zucky long ago, 2018. He was like, yeah, I'm busy with this Cosmo thing, kind of busy, I'll get back to you. And that's usually what you get blown off with, right? And then come 2019, he showed up with Sunny and with Tony Arcieri to talk about IBC and talk about our network protocol and were they similar? And we had this sort of, walkthrough to figure out, is Cosmos this thing that we should use? Are you, and is our stuff something that Cosmos should use? And it was just, sort of out of the blue, dropped in our lap, and it just lined up. So that was sort of a fun thing that I didn't expect that that was not on my bingo card that year, and it's made a huge difference. So.
And now, what do you think should be the end game for the Cosmos Hub, or for the ecosystem?
So IBC2, we should continue IBC stuff. We've got legs, we've got value, we've got people who know what they need and know what that problem needs. People talk about Cosmos, hitting down, but mostly that's because they're not paying attention to all the things that are Cosmos. So all the things that spin out of it, Celestia and Union Bridge and all these things have a lot of legs, and they're connecting a lot of the universe. And so that, to me, that's sort of the big heart of Cosmos, is connecting a lot of these independent things. And so I think we need to pursue that until things are connected and you can program across them easily.
Which upcoming launch excites you the most?
Well, obviously Agoric, but beyond Agoric, I would say Union Bridge. Because it brings IBC connectivity to so many more chains. And so, I mean, like, we've got various kinds of connectivity, but that uniform connectivity, every step of making it simpler is a valuable step. And that's one of those things where you get a tipping point where suddenly you go from disconnected networks to an interchain of all these different bridges that everyone's just using the same kind of rich access between them. And, we're close to that. And that's a big step.
Do you mean Agoric haven't been launched yet?
Oh, no. Agoric has been launched, but Agoric orchestration is just went live. The API just went live a couple of weeks ago. People are now starting to build on it, but getting those deployed where you've got actual applications that are able to take assets from Ethereum, move them across, change them for something, go to another chain and buy an OmniFlix ticket or whatever it is, right? A Stargaze NFT or a position on Osmosis. Automating all of that, being able to orchestrate across all those chains is what you need to get to full-on real interoperability, and we're close as an ecosystem. I mean, we're now in a position to unify Cosmos. Soon we'll be able to do that. Unify the assets, liquidity, functionality with Ethereum, Solana, and everything else.
And about applications, what was the application you was really enjoyed of using?
IBC Fun, because it's sort of the tip of the iceberg in terms of an orchestration app. It's as far as you can go while you're still managing it off-chain, but it's a focus on good user experience for a small but important use case. It takes a lot more to get to a bigger use case, and we've got to get to much richer use cases with the same kind of cleanliness and simplicity. That's what our focus is. That's what a lot of other people's focus is. But that's a good example of getting to a more usable world.
Is Cosmos about bringing simplicity to crypto?
Maybe it should be. I don't think it is. I think it's about bringing connectivity and rich interoperability to crypto. And it is started along the route of bringing simplicity to that space. So crypto requires the interconnectivity, right? There isn't, the fantasy of everyone lives on one chain was always a dumb fantasy, right? It was always going to be the Cosmos model of a bunch of services, a bunch of chains all interconnected. And so Cosmos is leading in how do I make a UI that works smoothly across that? And so that is a place where Cosmos has a strength that they could really leverage.
EVM or Cosmos?
Cosmos.
Claim or compound?
Oh, compound.
Your favorite catch-up phrase?
Orchestrate all the things. Orchestrate all the things.
Thank you.
Thank you.